Hello, so in this video we'll show you how to manage the users and the user's profile, and that's where you define which type of users have access to. So our framework is very flexible, which allows you to define multiple different permissions according with features, according with layers and other things that each user has access to. So basically enter as the admin. I already have here the admin login saved, so I'll just press login. I'm in my framework. I choose the advanced workspace. All the workspaces have access to this users admin panel, but in different ways to access it. So in the admin, in this advanced workspace, you just need to go to the icon tools. You click here and you see here a feature called manage users. So you click in this icon, automatically opens in this container the manage users panel. In here, that's where you have all the users. They are created. You can edit each of them, and you have all the profiles. Basically, each user you need to have a type of user, which is the user profile, and we have multiple. We have a few users. We have admin user, the regular user, and basically we create the same profile for each of them. They have the same name, so it will be easier to manage this. So basically, then you need to relate the profiles with the users. That's where you do here manage user types. That's where you relate the user admin with the profile admin, the user guest with the profile regular, the user demo with the profile demo, and the user low-coder with the profile low-coder. So what is these profiles for? This is where in here, this is where you define now the permissions that each profile has, and this gives you the ability to have multiple users with different types of profiles. So if you go here to manage user type of permission, you click here and automatically it shows you three tabs. It shows you the pages permissions. These are the pages that our framework has and what each user profile has access to. So in here it detects the profiles they are created, so you can select different ones, and automatically it updates here the correspondent permissions. So in these columns you have multiple type of permissions. Currently you have the access permission, the write permission, and the delete permission. Each file in our framework has these three types of permissions. These same permissions which can be defined here in the object types. So basically this is like activities. So access, write or delete, it is an activity, it is an object type. So basically we have created three, and that's what we use internally in our framework. Besides this, we have the layers permission. So besides going to more granular level and defining the permissions for each file, you can do it based on a more in a generic level, and that's where you have the layers permission, where it will detect the layers that you created before, and based on the layers that you created before, you can define if the user has access to it or not. Example, if I have an IT department where I have the web designers department, I have then the web development department, and then I have the infrastructure department, maybe I just want the web design department to access the presentation layer and don't have access to the logic layer, because the logic layer will be more for the web development department, including the data access. But maybe the infrastructure department will have access to the DB layer. So this is just an example how you can define the permissions according with your team in your company. And then we have the workspace permissions. So basically, when you log in, you can define which workspace that user has access to. So in this case we are seeing the demo profile. and this demo profile, when you enter with the users that have this profile, they only have access to the advanced workspace. So if I go to the admin has all the access to all these workspaces. Additionally, for this we have other type of permissions which we call the layout types, which is basically the projects. So each project that you create in the presentation layer, it will create a layout type. And then in this layout type you can define inside of this layout type, so these projects, what are the files from each layer that belong to these projects. So example, so the presentation, I have the common project. Well, in this case it's because I have selected here the common project, but if I select the my first project, I'll have, it will belong the common and my first project, and in the business logic layer we'll have all these subfolders, and in the my data access layers we'll have all these subfolders. In the DB data layer I have to have access to all the databases defined here, but I can change all of this, so I can say that this project only has access to this subfolder or this other subfolder or this only database. So basically I can define what are the belongings of this project. This gives access to what? So the user, when is inside of a specific project, so when he comes here and when he selects a specific project, basically it gives you access and it filters the contents which are in the navigation bar. It gives you access to only that project that he belongs to, and gives you access to write, to delete. So that's because that files belong to the projects. Then we have something called the reference to that specific project. Reference is that I don't have, as a user, I don't have write access, but I can still referring some of that functionalities in my project. So this is very useful. Why? Because if I have a project and I want to use a service from the logic side, or I want to use some functionality or some data access rule, there is some other project, I can reference here that specific service or rule, so I can then use it in my project, but I cannot change it. So in order to change it, that rule or service needed to belong to my project, and this is very useful. Basically I can have my own navigator and my own workspace, filtering these by project and not showing all the projects. If I have 100 projects, it will be very confusing to manage all of that, and with these I can only manage the files that belong to that project, and then I can see what are the features. They are referenced from other projects, they are referenced to my projects. So this is very useful because of that. So in this panel here, that's where you can manage the users and other type of configurations, more advanced. And that's it. Thank you very much.